We're live.
Woohoo!
Yeah, sure. It's not showing up on my screen.
It's not showing up on mine either, but it says we're live.
Yeah. Huh.
This is waiting for Bay Area Aquatics.
I just got my notification. We should be live.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Oh,
There it is.
Oh.
man. All right. Now I gotta find my chat again.
Ooh, I'm lagging.
We are on. Hey, everyone.
What's up, Jeremy?
Yeah, where did the chat go?
Yeah, it's like everything just popped in, and we're gonna kind of wait for a couple seconds and let people join in. And
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Jeremy's gone wild. He's been here for a while, hasn't he?
he's been patient. Patient.
Yeah.
And waiting.
You know, patience is a virtue, and some of us have it, and a lot of us don't. But
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, Clay, 3 ways. What's up, everyone?
Oh, yeah, we're getting up there in the chat now.
Yeah, just getting.
Well,
Trent
we lost Trent already.
I say he's been going in and out. We still have his audio.
Hang on, I've got to get my end. I'm fighting the wife for internet.
What you guys don't know is that before this started, he was 11 minutes late to us just hanging out.
I know. Yeah.
So
We've been here since 4:30.
Yeah.
What's up, everyone?
Wow, now people are really showing up.
Yeah. Hey, Rob. What's
Hey,
up?
Rob, yeah.
Yeah, we're just waiting on Trent as usual. So we're gonna give him a ton of crap just because we can. He is coming.
She's probably playing like Witcher or Skyrim or something, taking up all the internet down there.
Yeah, streaming Netflix or
Or Disney Plus.
something.
So,
yeah.
I mean, we've all gotten bit with the Disney Plus bug for sure.
Yeah.
You know, what's really crappy is we bought Frozen 2 on Amazon, even though it should already be on Disney Plus, but it's not. So
yeah, I don't think it's coming out for a couple months. Can you hear me now, Rob? I know Rob's saying he couldn't hear me. I don't know if you can hear me now.
yeah, I can hear you nice. Let's see,
Okay.
what is it?
If my volume's good or not. What's up, Cichlids23?
Oh, there we go.
And Trent's back.
Hey, Trent,
Okay.
welcome back.
Do I need to
What's
turn
up,
it up any
everybody?
louder, Rob? Or?
He said it's better now there, Michael.
Yeah. Okay.
Jeez, I'm lagging still. Hang on, it's gonna catch up and it's gonna look normal.
I was gonna say you look normal on the actual broadcasting software. It's just a little slow on YouTube, but
Yeah.
Well, I'm in.
yeah, it's
Hey,
all good.
Aqua. Hey, Caleb. Oh,
But all right. Yes, Aquafunk. This is where all the cool kids hang out.
Of course it is.
It's the best cool kids in the think tank.
yeah. We've been having the think tank for 4 or 5 months now.
Yeah, we've
Yeah, we've-
got a daily Facebook chat we go through every day.
Oh yeah, I have not used Messenger for the last 3 years, and then you guys just blow it up every day.
Just all the time.
My favorite's when I'm doing something at work, and then I get back in, and there's 900 messages from you two just spamming me all day long.
Yeah.
So I can usually keep up on it when I'm at work, but there's a couple times I have to catch up on everybody's messages.
Yeah,
See, and I have no life, so I'm just always.
the simultaneous drink and almost spit that just happened right there. It's perfect.
Yeah. And for someone asked what my Caleb's Aquatics. I'm at my office. So I've just got a regular webcam, but I've got a different microphone set up. And since I'm at my studio, I'm sitting in front of one of my sets with the lighting and that. But normally I'm not doing that.
And he's just sitting inside of a DIY background for a massive fish tank.
Yeah. It's just wallpaper.
Yeah.
We're gonna try it one day. One day we'll get like a 300-gallon behind him.
Eventually. But, all right. So what you guys want to talk about?
We got lots of things going on, don't we?
And the Arroyo family's here. You gotta say hi to the Arroyos.
Oh, what's up, Royals? Welcome to the chat.
Hi, Aquatic Monkey Business.
Well, Ben,
Let's see.
if you have not followed them on Instagram yet, I recommend you do so. They've got a lot of tanks going up here recently.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
the best.
All right, so
They
we got
are
our
the best.
first question from Wet Elbow Aquatics. What are your collective thoughts on the Glofish beta?
I think I have the opinion that's going to get me in trouble. I want one. I actually really want one.
I mean, I don't think they're horrible. It's just the good thing about the Glofish new tanks that they're coming out with they're actually a tank. They're not a bowl. So like, I like how they're actually branding it properly this time, which makes the fish better in my mind because they're actually going to give that fish long life. But still, it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's not quite shove 6 tetras into a little 3-gallon or something like that.
Yeah, my favorite's the 0.75 or the 0.5 gallon tanks
Yeah.
that they say perfect for Bettas right on the side of them.
I know Creative Pet Keeping, I think today actually just
she
reviewed the
did.
new Betta tank geared towards the Glow Betta.
Yeah, and the Glow Betta tank is actually the Marineland 3-gallon. So if you get the Marineland 3-gallon that's all in one system, it's the exact same one just with the Glowfish logo on it.
It looks really noticeable.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to get the Glow Betta tank and they see the Marineland, it's the exact same tank, just turn the blue light on. And then you can save $15-20 off of not having the Glow Betta name on there.
See, and I'm not the biggest like Glowfish fan. I don't hate them. I don't think they shouldn't be on the market. You know, they're not something I'd personally keep, except in a very specific way. But
yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. It gets people into the hobby. I think it's a good way to start. You know, it gets a lot of color into some people's tanks, and so.
yeah.
And yes, Puma 1, Sunfish 1, there are Glowfish Bettas now.
Yeah, they are just rolling out.
They are very new.
Do you know the other sad thing is that, let's say I were to go out and buy a female and a male and breed them, I could potentially be sued.
Oh, because you're selling them?
Because they are patented fish.
Yes.
Because they're not natural, they were patented. So keep that in mind, anyone, if you want to try to breed your own Glowfish Bettas, that you could potentially get sued for that.
So what you're telling me then is there's a really good like black market fish world right now that I can get involved in.
Yeah. Haven't you watched Coralfish 12 Cheese Piranhas on the black market video?
This kind of goes back into my beginnings of the hobby when I got started, but my wife used to work with a guy who kept a lot of fish tanks. He told me a story of he ordered in red belly piranhas and they arrived in a wet paper towel in a manila bubble envelope. And that's how the fish got shipped to him.
Oh, nice. I'm guessing they were dead.
They lived.
Huh.
They lived and everything was good.
Dang.
Those are
That's
some
crazy.
hardy little dudes there. Man. But I was going to say something else. I totally forgot.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I overtook.
No, it's all good. I waited for you specifically. Peter, I'm curious if you bred a Glowfish beta and a regular beta, what your mix of offspring would be there. If you get like a half and half, or
That'd be interesting to try.
yeah, just throwing that out there.
But then maybe I'd get half sued.
You're really gonna go jam.
You know, I don't really want Glowfish coming after me. They got more money than they know what to do with. So
If you're not
All
selling them, you know, you
yeah,
could
but what?
donate them to the local something.
I mean, I've got 65 Bettas right now that I'm trying to give away and sell, and so I don't need another 65 half Glowfish striped.
Well, see, could you make the argument on like, was it photography where it's if you like screenshot an Instagram post, you can technically sell that because it's enough of a creative difference. If you
Or if
breed
you
it with
make
one of yours, does
like
that
10% difference of
or something like that?
Yeah.
So add 50% of your DNA and 50% of their DNA, and boom, you're good to go.
Yeah, I'll have to read into it and see what their legality is on it. Because if I can,
Aquafunk saying you can give them away, you just can't sell them.
Can we accept donations? Charitable funding.
Yeah.
Just give away, but you have to pay me for the $45 shipping on the fish.
Yeah. Pay me for the water in the fish?
Yeah, exactly. For the box. $45 box.
So Maria's asking if any of us have ever bred or breed again Bettas. Peter, I know you've bred your Bettas.
Yeah.
That's where a majority of yours came from. So it kind of has crossed paths. So me and Peter live fairly close to each other. We're trying to get Michael over here.
One of these days.
But we were working on a project with those wild caught Bettas.
Yeah.
I still have a wild alien betta, and to this day, I have no idea where my female went. So I would definitely like to try and breed my blue alien betta. I gotta find a different supplier. I'm not gonna say any names. I'm not gonna do that to anybody. But the person I bought them from, I'm not impressed with. It was fairly poor quality. It took a lot of meds to get those bettas healthy.
Yeah.
So
I bought a wild type betta from the same guy, and I lost the same fish because his tail rotted completely off. So, and then Trent was nice enough to give me his pair of ocelota.
Betta ocelota, yep.
Yeah, and I gave it a 1/2 inch gap on the lid, and the female decided she was going to squeeze her way out, and she flopped all the way across the whole fish room and underneath the rack, and now I have a dried up sardine of a betta, unfortunately. So I've got a really sad male.
Yeah. I'll see.
Really
And like
sad.
I wouldn't mind breeding betas eventually. I just don't have the space for it right now.
Yeah, it takes a lot of space. Like Trent's been in the fish room here in the Guppy garage, and I could probably put maybe 4 20 longs in the space that it takes to put my betta barracks.
Yeah.
So, and then I've got a whole nother 20 long that's full of the females, and then I have a whole nother 10 gallon that's full of like the just bettas that weren't growing fast enough to be put into the barracks. So I've got quite a lot of space taken up for betta breeding.
Well, see, and I've tossed the idea around of doing like breeding betas, but then kind of, and how do I say this without being, attacked on YouTube? Selectively raising. So I'm not, full of them. But again, that would be more for breeder points. And at that point, I can breed those later.
Yeah, I'm probably going to take some of mine over to, we have our auction coming up here, and they just started the breeding program here in Salt Lake. So I'm going to put in a couple for that and get some points for that, and hopefully some good people will get some great fish out of it. So, and
if you are looking for bettas, if I can give it a shout out on the stream, saltcityaquatics.com.
Oh yeah,
Peter and his friend Ian, right?
Yep, Ian.
They have started that. I know Peter has all of his bettas up for sale on there, and hopefully in the near future, you'll be seeing some rice fish and mystery snails going up on that site. I'm going to be joining Salt City Aquatics to sell some stuff off. But if you're looking for good bettas, that's the place to go right now.
I agree.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, and Ian does shrimp. So it's kind of funny because Ian and I have known each other since we were actually 2. We've just been friends of family and stuff. And then we really started hanging out in elementary school, and then we haven't seen each other for a couple of years after graduating. And then he just reached out to me, and he's like, "Hey, are you doing fish?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "Oh, well, I do shrimp." I'm like, "Oh, what?" So we got hooked up, and we've just been kind of trading stuff back and forth. And then he's had the website for a long time, so he's like, "Do you want to start putting some fish on it?" I'm like, "Okay, sure." So it's been pretty cool to be able to hang out with him some more. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, see, and the other thing, too, while we're shouting people out, if you guys haven't subscribed to Guppy Guru or Wel-Don Tanks, be sure to go subscribe to them, because I know we're on my channel. But the next time we do a live stream, it's going to be on one of their channels. So don't know which one yet or when it's going to be. But
yeah, we'll try to mix it up and give everyone the love.
It took some coordination to get all 3 of us together on the same night.
Yeah. Do you think it's been about a month? of us trying to do this?
This specific one, yeah.
Yeah.
But we've been talking about doing a live stream together for what, 4 or 5 months now?
Yeah, months. So it finally worked out where we were able to get everyone together.
Yeah, and Cichlids 23. Is anyone in the meetups that raise tank raised Odos? I'm not sure. I've seen Odos at the auction before. Whether or not they were tank raised, I don't know. If you post in the Sacramento Facebook group, I believe there's a couple of people breeding them, but I don't know if they've ever brought them to the auction. That would be my guess. But
yeah, I think like if you can go to local stuff, you're always going to get not per se a hardier fish, but a fish that's more attuned to your local area.
more
I
local
guess.
waters.
Yeah, because like where you guys are at, you have really no hardness. Where here in Utah, we've got like 80,
we're crazy hard.
like it's just rock water coming out of here. So like all my bettas were raised in hard water, which people say you can't do, and I've raised all of them in hard water. So actually, all my fish are raised in hard water. I've actually tried to see if I could raise every single one in hard water, and I haven't had an issue yet. So
I definitely agree, and we've talked about this, and we know that there's some plans coming to my new fish room that I'm really gonna play with that concept. But everybody told me that my Mabu puffer wouldn't do well in my hard water. Yeah, I know Corey uses some crushed coral to kind of buffer his, but like Peter's right. On a hard, is it the KH test kit? Is it the GH test kit?
yeah, we're at the top.
I can't get an accurate reading. That's
Yeah.
how hard my water is. And this guy over here, he's fine. He's thriving.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of how you do it.
Yeah, well, and depending on where you, like, I know you mentioned we're in this area. I don't know how much your guys' water systems vary, but like my town has its own water processing plant. The town next to me has its own plant. Half the county has its own plant. San Francisco water is completely different than mine, so it can vary quite. You know, even if I go get some fish from the arroyos, it's going to be different waters than mine, just because we're coming from two different sources.
That's true.
So it can vary quite a bit.
I think pretty much all of Utah water is pretty close, unless you get up into like the Farmingtons and stuff where it's more aquifer water. But where we're at, mostly it's mountain runoff, snow runoff, that kind of stuff.
See, I know like San Francisco is a lot of what is it? It's like, I want to say it's super acidic or like super high pH or something like that. I don't remember, but it's way on one end of the scale versus like where I'm at, which is a little more East Bay. We get most of ours either from we're closer up where we're pulling straight from the rivers from the mountains, so it's mainly melted snow and that. But yeah, so.
And Maria, I think you're right. I think Michael would freeze.
I would freeze to death. Yes.
I
mean, it was what? It's 70-ish today, and I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. But yesterday it was like 65, and I was in a hoodie and pants.
What was
It
it?
was
It was really cold yesterday.
my car read 20 degrees and I left my garage to go to work yesterday.
Yeah, it's 32 at the moment. But yesterday it took me 25 minutes to get into my car. I had to come back in. I had to grab my heat gun, go outside, plug it in, and melt my doors open because it was freezing rain.
Yep.
So, a little different atmosphere out here, but it's beautiful.
Well, see, and I don't think my car has ever seen weather below. Actually, I don't know about before, but when I've owned it in the like 30,000 miles I've put on it, I've never been to the snow with it. I've never been below freezing with it.
We'll change that.
Yeah. I need to, but
speaking of temperature, Serolf, he's asking perfect temp to keep a tank at. I have a mix of Corys, Ottos, Shrimp, and Guppies in a heavily planted 55-gallon. What do you guys recommend?
You want to go first, Peter?
Yeah, for the guppies, so the shrimp and the guppies are always hard because you want to keep them at kind of the same but kind of different. Like, I know Michael keeps his higher than I would say too. I keep most of my tanks 74 to 75. Some of them I get up into like the 78 if there's like an illness going on, but almost every tank I keep at 74, 75.
Well, see, and like my tanks, actually, I've changed it since I was having some issues with my guppies. They're down at like 74 right now, along with the The rainbow shiners, I just got her down at like 74. I normally keep all of my tanks at 78 or higher, and the only reason for that is because I'm a big Python system user, and in the summertime my tap water doesn't get any colder than 78. So if I do like a 72 degree tank, I either have to do buckets and let it sit and cool, or I'm going to shock the fish or do little like 5% changes at a time, which I'm just not willing to do. So everything just stays in 78.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a test on our water. I did a water change on one of my tanks yesterday, and it comes out right now in the winter at 48 degrees. So,
see, and mine comes out at like 68-ish at the coldest right now, 68, 69.
Jeez,
I
have such a wide range.
Yeah, we have to triple check every time water goes in anywhere here. So
yep.
And Cichlids 23, Trent and I both actually live in Utah.
Yeah.
We're both, so I'm in Salt Lake proper. He's a little bit outside of Salt Lake proper, but we're both in Salt Lake area.
We're in the same county.
Yep, we are.
I'm the
It's
odd
a
one
big
out.
county, but yeah, but you've been to Utah, you know what it's like.
Yeah, I grew up Mormon. I got all my family that way.
Yeah.
So, Seraph, I would not recommend doing temperature swings to match, because he asked if you should do temperature swings like summer and winter. So right now, I think if you've followed me on Instagram, seen me on YouTube, I'm in my laundry room right now. Like right behind the camera that's why I keep reaching over. Like that's my washer. So I don't have one heater in any of my tanks right now. Even the tank behind me is staying at 80 degrees, but it's also raised higher. I actually use my dehumidifier to heat this entire room. So my lower tanks stay about 72. My higher tanks stay anywhere between 74 to 75, but then the acrylic tank has the internal pump that actually keeps that tank upwards of 80. So I would not recommend high temperature swings to keep anything.
I wouldn't recommend changing it on the season. And then the higher temps, I think you just kind of got to watch what you're keeping. I know a bunch of people said that my pond in California was going to have a ton of issues, and my pond hit up to, let's say it was like 93, 94 degrees in the summertime, and I was still breeding minnows in the middle of summer. So, I mean, it's not what I would keep year round per se, but it's just one of those.
You had white clouds in there too.
Yeah,
right?
white cloud minnows. So they're real tough little guys. Yeah,
they're used to that temperature swing for sure. But like if you put a guppy out there, it should do about the same because they're in that more tropical environment. But if you go put a goldfish out there,
it's not going to do well.
Yeah, and you're going from 100-degree water all the way down to like right now, my little pond that hasn't been even installed yet is just a massive ice block. So I put it out there, and now it's just full of water and frozen. So now I'm going to have to probably wait till May before that'll thaw out.
Yeah. Mr. Carpy, so I've thought about that, but like I said, my biggest problem is even in the summertime when it's 110, 115 degrees out where I'm at, when the cold water's all the way on cold, it's still coming out at 78 to 80 degrees. So it's just, Corey, there's no tanks in here at all. Oh, no, Peter has one behind him.
Yeah.
Yes.
This one, that's my 45 tall. It's got Trent's fish in it.
That's right, the guppies I gave you.
Yeah.
And Trent's got a tank too.
Yeah.
I got one behind me. I mean, I technically have all 12 tanks behind me right now.
Well, see, I've got a goldfish tank about 30 feet that way, and I was set up in front of it, but it didn't look good, so I moved over to a set in my studio because my house was loud. So otherwise I'd be in front of my tanks at my house, but it was just loud.
So Maria, it actually gets up into the like mid to high 100, 110 at the highest usually. But it's just dry here. It's really, really dry. So like you guys will get a higher humidity than us. I mean, we're down at like 30% humidity at the most. So it's hot, but it doesn't, you don't sweat. Like if you go to like Phoenix or something and you go out to like 110 down there, you are just covered in sweat. Here, it's like you can go out for like 45 minutes and you kind of sweat a little bit. So I like the dry heat a lot better.
So apparently our big heads are all blocking our tanks, which is probably a very true statement.
Yeah. There we go, Peter. You should just stay right there the rest of the time.
Yeah. I just won't be in it anymore. I'll just sit out of frame like this.
Well, you've got your name there, so it counts.
Yeah. It's not the prettiest tank. This one actually, for a long time, I've been thinking about just tearing it down and tearing it down and tearing it down, and then I just kind of threw a bunch of plants in it, and it's been looking okay. So it's just got Amazon swords. It's got some Pogostemus stellatus octopus, which is the longest name that I remember. And then it's got some jungle vow, and then Salvinia. So then I've got like rainbow platies, and the yellow tuxedos is what the common name is, but they're yellow pastel. Yeah. And those I got from Trent. So.
Yeah. See, and I still really want to do a big like 75 or a 125 here, because like I said, I'm at my studio, not my house. And the biggest problem I have is the water. We have a shared bathroom like 100 yards down the hallway. And so right now I'm using a furniture dolly and a 10-gallon storage tote, and I'm walking it back and forth doing water changes on this little 20 long. And I did not want to do that on like a 75. I've thought about doing like a super low maintenance 75, but if it's going to be a display at my office, I want it stocked pretty decently so that people can actually, super enjoy it.
You should just hire Zenzo to come in and take care of it for you.
Yeah, there you go.
He's all the way in SF, but BART is literally like 30 seconds from my office. I'm all the way at the end of the BART station. I can see the BART. I'm staring at BART right now through the window, actually. So, he could hop on a BART train and make it all the way out here. It'd just be like an hour-long BART ride.
Yeah, there'd be a travel fee associated with that for sure.
Hey, I'll pay his BART ticket. That's fine.
Yeah. My 75, I have not done a water change in that in 3 months.
That's crazy to me, because I'm running a little different setup, but the only tank I don't do water changes on is my filterless tank. But everything else is just bare holding tanks that I have to keep up on.
Well, see, I do 50% on my 75 weekly, even though I know I really don't need to. I just, for some reason, it makes me feel better about it, so that's what I do.
Yeah, I do weekly water tests, but I haven't had any spikes in anything. But almost every one of my plants has, live plants in every one of my tanks, so that helps a lot with that process.
HC Aqua, that is a Maboo puffer, and this is just a holding tank. We're building the fish room next month, but this is the guy that I drove to Washington for. I drove up there. I actually went there to buy a Shodenai puffer. They sold their last one the day before I got there. They had him in stock, so I came home with the Maboo puffer, and I then kind of forced my hand to let my wife let me get a big tank. So that's him.
And Jordan's a very sweet lady.
Oh, she's awesome.
Very nice. Trent makes her sound worse than she is.
If she has us on downstairs right now, I'm going to be in trouble.
I know, but she's great. She's great. We actually, my fiance and I went out there and did the game night with them not too long ago, so we hang out.
Let's see, and we've got Maria's question from Julia. If we could have any fish in the world, what fish would we have and why?
So, if I answered that question 2 years ago, it would have been the Maboo puffer. Now that I have it, I am dying to get a stingray, and it's not because of Joey. It's nothing of that. I actually got a hand feed the stingrays at the big Live It Planning Aquarium here in Utah, and ever since I hand fed those, it was the coolest thing. There's just the weird, they kind of munch on your hand as they're taking the food from us like that. Ever since then, I thought they were the most just majestic creatures to look at. But I don't have the room to build the proper size tank I'd want to put them in.
Yeah, but your fish room that you're building is going to be nice, but definitely not stingray size.
No, it's I'm going to be busting the limits with the Maboo puffer. So.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's going to make some great videos, everybody, and I'll be out there helping him out because there's going to be a lot going on. But it's going to be really cool.
A lot going on.
And then we're going to get Michael to come out and help us too. So
maybe I'll come film a tour once it's done.
Yeah, I need him to film and actually make it look good.
What type of fish would you keep, Peter?
I know everyone has like their dream fish. I honestly don't really have one. I kind of everything I have is my dream fish. Like I'm still so new into all of this that every time I get a new fish, it's like, oh my gosh, this thing's incredible. But if I could like go beyond the limits of capability and build whatever I wanted, I would have a tank that could fit sockeye salmon.
That would be awesome. That would
So,
be incredible.
I'm talking like a whole river and a pond, like
Do a
We
whole
can make-
salmon facility.
exactly. Like I want like a full like what is it? Like a restocking facility.
We
This
got
is-
one of those up here in Sacramento. You should come
Yeah.
tour it.
Yeah,
This is doable. We could build a raceway around your backyard.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
I don't think
possibilities here.
a 1/4 acre could fit that, but
Oh,
you
I
know.
will. We may have to break down your neighbor's fence, but just
Yeah, I mean,
We could do a
nice
series of tunnels, and you could just go over and under it, and that way you can just kind of loop all like a parking garage. Just go up
Yeah.
and up and up, and then
Mole
back down to the
salmon.
bottom.
mole salmon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
could have
Oh,
some
yeah.
hamster tubing running up around your house with salmon.
Hey, there's been some pretty cool tanks like that, though.
Well, like I
You
said,
know.
come to ACA in what is it, June, July, in Sacramento. They've got a salmon facility. We'll come tour it. I'll go with you.
You
Just
know,
gotta make it out here.
I've got to go to Cody, Wyoming that week, unfortunately.
I know. Just
Yeah.
call in
If-
sick.
If
Yeah,
I
it doesn't
end
work
up
that
out,
way.
If I end up out there, I want to tour that. If you can
Yeah.
set that up, if I come out there, that would be awesome.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, how about you, Michael? What's your
Uh,
favorite?
I wouldn't necessarily
Or
say a
dream.
favorite or dream fish. I don't really have one. My favorite fish at the moment, like I said, is my rainbow shark. I just love that rainbow shark. It's fun to watch. But if I could do like a dream tank setup, I'd want to do like a large, like 800-gallon, like Corey's got, or 1,000-gallon, something like that. I actually really like the footprint of Joey's big tank that he has his arowana and stuff in. And I would do just a crap ton of like schooling fish and plants and make almost like a whole ecosystem that's just kind of cut out and there. I think that would look awesome.
That would be
There's
pretty
a guy on Instagram. God, I gotta find it. I have to find his name. Oki's back. I think. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but he I think he has like a 20-foot long tank, and he's got a tree stump coming up out of it with moss down it, plants down it, but then he's got schools of like geophagus, and he has schools of rainbow fish, and
Ooh, that's
just
cool.
how it works in unison. That it is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, like you always go to like the big aquariums, like Monterey, or Monterey is not too far from me. It's only a couple hours, and then you see these big chunks, and you just see all the fish interacting, and it's big enough that you can physically see different schools on like a 75, where they're kind of, just kind of all over the place. And I think that would just be really, really cool. That would be my dream fish setup. But,
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of our thing though is we just want to try it all. I think, that's the hard part with this hobby is you're like, ooh, I've done this. What's next?
Well, and I've only been in the hobby 2 years, and I know you're pretty new, and I can't remember how long Trent's been in it.
Shoot, did be 4.5 years now. About 4.5 years.
So he's got more experience than me and Peter do combined.
Yep.
And but it's just one of those like I just got into breeding, and that's been super fun now. So that's what I've been
and
working
you got
on.
me hooked
That is-
on that too. So
You got both of us hooked on that. That's why I literally have 10-gallon tanks on the floor right now.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I got into that breeding program with my club, and I just loved the idea of it, and got some least killifish, were what really started it out, and some cherry shrimp, and some guppies, and white cloud minnows, and I just kind of went crazy with it, and I've had so much fun with that. But
yeah, now
Well,
I'm doing the breeding program too. Trent was able to go to the last club meeting and sent me the paperwork.
Yep,
and
got that.
Now I've got I think 6 forms filled out already for this next auction. So lots of good fish going. Lots of
I'll see.
Michael, you've shown. I think your video of your tour of how you actually set your tanks up, that needs to go viral, because that proves to so many people in literally a closet,
yeah,
you are breeding more fish than most people are in like a rack or a system. I mean,
Well, see, when I started to get into the fish tanks and I wanted my 75, I honestly debated about running a big rack system in that closet versus a big tank. But I didn't have a big tank and I wanted a big tank. And so, but I had almost done rows of 10-gallon tanks. And like I said, the nice thing about that wall there is it backs up into my garage. And so I could poke a hole through it, run the water pump or run the air pump out into the garage so it'd be quiet. I have the water heaters right on the other side so I could do a nice little water change system. The outside wall's on the other side of the wall so I could drain it right into the out. Like, it's a perfect setup to do a little rack spot. I just, one, I don't want to run that many heaters, and two, I just didn't want to deal with it. I wanted my big tank. I like my big tank.
Yeah,
it's good. It looks good.
Look at my setup. I've got just 10s on 10s on 10s on 10s, but then I'm running only 2 air pumps.
Yeah.
So, but I also have the nice part of not sleeping in the same room as my fish room. Because if that was the case, I would never get any sleep because I've got a dehumidifier, 2 air pump. Actually, I've got 4 air pumps going now because I just set up some more stuff. But yeah, I couldn't sleep in that room.
Well, see, for a while, the 2 AquaClear 110s were like loud enough that they were bothering me, and I finally gotten used to that. And I can deal with the hum of that motor there. But I want to grab one question real quick before it disappears too far. Aquafunk was asking if we think bamboo shrimp would bother pygmy fry. I don't have experience with either, so.
I've never kept them, but having Corys, I've kept Corys. I've seen pygmies, and I've had my buddy kept bamboo shrimp. The bamboo shrimp are the big filter feeder shrimp, so they're going to climb up on top of your sponge filter, on top of a power head, where the pygmy Corys, they're going to run through your substrate. If you have like Java moss or any decoration, they're going to spend their time down there. So they're actually going to inhabit 2 different parts of the water column, so I don't think you'd have any issue with that.
Yep. Well, it's just like killifish will stay up top. So if you want something for a bottom dweller and a top dweller, you can always just, that's kind of the nice part with fish is there's different levels of fish that you can get. So you can kind of have a really nice active tank.
Stack it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's probably why I like guppies the most though, is because they're all over the place. They're everywhere. I mean, you can watch this fish right here. He's just going up and down this whole tank. So
that's why I like my platies.
Yeah, platies, guppies, same kind of.
But speaking of guppies, Seraph's asking favorite tail types on guppies. I'm not super biased on that. I'll let the guppy expert come in.
You know, right now, it's my top swords. I got those gold top swords from David at Opa's Fish Ranch, or Opa's Guppy Ranch, and it is gorgeous. Like, just absolutely gorgeous. You look in there and it's just different and special and exciting. So right now I think top swords are kind of up there, but I also agree the spade tails are gorgeous. Over at Fish For You, which is our local fish store here, or my local fish store, they had some endlers with spade tails, and I almost picked up a ton of them, but they were very pricey, so I didn't. So spade tails and top swords, I think, are my 2 favorite right now. But then, of course, I still love the Dumbos and everything too. Dumbos will just have my heart forever. So
see, and I'm not the biggest Dumbo fan. It's just a lot going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was my first real guppy. Like, you know, like I spent $10 a piece on those guys. And I bought 3 of them, and you know, Larry, Moe, and Curly, the 3 Stooges, and they were just kind of like, they like jump started that guppy love for me. So I think that's why I like the Dumbos so much.
That makes sense.
Yeah, just like you like your red tail shark, because you, since before you even started, that's what you wanted.
Yeah, that's what you wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah. So everyone's kind of got that. Once they fall in love with one fish, it just kind of snowballs.
It's there.
So.
Yeah,
it's true.
I agree.
Very true.
Would I do a flower horn tank? I personally am not a flower horn fan, but I know a couple of people are.
That's a shame. Flower horns are beautiful.
You had one for a long time, right, Trent?
I did. Yep. I did a video on my channel of the 3 fish I regret rehoming, and that was one of them. So it was not a high quality flower horn. I bought it off a guy who, he bought it thinking it was like a peacock cichlid or something. But flower horn, but the personality of them are incredible. So you don't keep them to keep a nicely planted tank, any decor in there. I mean, he bit my hand one time. I was trying to put a piece of driftwood in his tank, and then I put a Nubius in there, and he shredded it. Freaking, he's a jerk. But if you can find a good quality one, they are absolutely gorgeous, and they are water dogs.
Yeah, I think if I were to go, I don't know. Would you classify a flower horn as predatory?
Yes.
Okay. So if I were to go more predatory style fish, I would probably go with a Bison. That's one that I've actually been looking at getting. I kind of have a hard time with culling fish. Just putting anything down is really hard. So being able to potentially feed another fish with something that wasn't going to live anyway, I think is a really good option. But I think a Bison is just so prehistoric. Like, it's just a dinosaur.
It's a cool looking fish.
Yeah, and they get huge. Some don't. They have all sorts of different color styles and everything. So, flower horn, probably not, though. I've thought about it multiple times. Just the space needed and the lack of being able to put anything in there with them kind of turns it off for me.
And that's where most people get hung up on it. Is it's a single species tank. You can get away with a 40-gallon. I would say something like a 75 is going to be the best for them once they actually get large. But then I think people buy them thinking that they're going to be this beautiful centerpiece. They get the big noodle hump, but then all of a sudden they kill everything else in their tank and they get a bad rap for them.
Yeah.
Well, see, I like the big communities. I like having more than one thing going on in the tank. So that's why I'm not a big, I'm not a big like Oranda goldfish fan either. I just don't like the hump on the head. It just looks weird to me.
Yeah.
But
and Paul Howell just said it. He's like, LRB has an Endler guppy tank that is probably the most colorful and constant movement in an aquarium. And anytime you go to the live bear or something like that, they're just all over the place. They're just all over the place. Yeah. And that's why pretty much every one of my tanks has some sort of live bear in it.
Yeah, and I'm going to grab this question because it's cool. JT Zamora, what are you feeding the killifish and rice fish fry? So what I'm personally feeding, aquarium co-op fry food, extreme krill flakes, spirulina flakes, and their community pellet in a grinder. And then I'm also feeding microworms for basically all of my small fish.
So for me, because I have a 5-gallon tank full of rice fish fry, I got to lean over, I can see them. The Sarah Micron has actually been my go-to. They seem to take to that after they're done eating the biofilm. They take to that really quick. Aquarium co-op fry food has always been a staple of mine. And then I do some of the extreme flake. I crush it up really well. But then it's the extreme cat scrapers. They're sinking wafer. That's my new, 100%. If I could only pick one fry food, that's my go-to now. Is it the way it degrades into the water? It feeds every age of fry, and it's super easy to then gravel back out if they don't eat it all. So it always stays in that one place. But that's my go-to.
What are you feeding your guppies? I know you just did a video on it, Peter.
Yeah, I mean, I usually make my own little mix with the bloodworm and the brine shrimp and all that kind of stuff. But then it's, BDS. I just actually got a brand new brine shrimp hatchery. I was watching the co-op video with Randy, and so I bought that Zis brine shrimp hatchery. And so I'm trying that out right now. But then I also got this new little ice tray that I'm also trying to see if I can get little tiny cubes, but mostly BBS. Nice. And then my mixture. But then I'm doing a lot of the extreme nano still. I do like that for the juvenile to more adult size fish. And then another really good one that I actually really have had good results with is the Omega one. Actually, I have it right here. The mini pellets. So this.
Okay, I've got a thing of those.
That one. I think these are it's been a really good, easy food. And most of the fish just carry them around in their mouths, and it looks funny too, which I like to watch. So, I mean, if we can't enjoy our fish, what's the point of them? So I always like to make it fun for myself when I'm feeding. So
I know we've talked about it, but Peter, will you explain why you make your own food, like your thought process behind that?
Yeah. So I mean, when you were out here, we kind of had this conversation, and it was kind of eye-opening for you, is what you told me. But I make my own mixture because, kind of like humans, fish have different taste buds. So maybe fish A will like a different food than fish B. So why would we feed them all the same exact thing when you can give them 4 or 5 different options, and then they kind of just pick and choose what they like to eat, because they're all not going to eat the same thing. So if you give them more option, more likely you're going to get every fish in your tank fed.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's mostly why I end up making my own, which is usually a mixture of a lot of different things just put together that we all know feeds fish. So.
Well, then Mark's got a question that's interesting. What do we think about using the bottled water, like the big blue bottles we find at Walmart? And I'm assuming you're talking for water changes, and I believe that's RO water, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
guys?
distilled RO. Yeah,
distilled. Yeah.
So, I have no experience with that. I just use my tap.
Yeah, I don't either.
So I have an RO system for my saltwater tank, and that's a whole other topic and discussion. Personally, for freshwater tanks, and I did it in my old fish room, and I have a video on it. I collected the wastewater from my RO unit and returned it back to my freshwater tanks, because I think that you're missing on a lot of the minerals that the plants actually want. So you're going to strip that down if you use something like distilled water. But I think in a pinch, if you knew your water treatment plant was going to be putting in ammonia, chlorine, that type of thing, and you needed to get it out fast, that's what I would use it for. But I don't see any real benefit to using it on a regular basis.
Yeah, well, and then there's just the price of it too. I mean, I don't know how much they really are. It's probably anywhere from $1 up to $4 a jug. I mean, the cost there's not really feasible for a lot of people, unless you have just one small tank. If you have a 10-gallon,
a little beta tank or something.
Yeah, and then that's perfect, because then you don't have to have any buckets rolling around or anything, or any RO systems. That might be a good option for that, but I don't have any real use for that kind of system. But you guys talked me into going with the Python after I put out my 12 fish tank water change in an hour. You guys are like, man, that was slow.
Did it change? It changes your life. Dude.
Yeah, now I'm lazy. You guys ruined me. I enjoyed my water changes. Now I'm like, oh no, water change.
Well, see, I still enjoy my water changes. I just put on my TV or some good music, and then I put the hose in the tank, and then I sit there and watch it for 20 minutes, and then I move it on to the next one.
I still enjoy them too. But like Trent came out, and I got one of those like caps that goes on the end of your pythons, and he's like, "Does this thing work?" I'm like, "No." It doesn't work. So
you're talking the little like fry. See, I keep debating about those.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. I sucked up, like I put it in there. I'm like, oh, cool, I'll be fine. And then I had a bucket in my sink just in case. Had like 20 guppy fry in there. I'm like, okay, this is not an option. This is not good. So then I ended up going back to just my window screen method. So
see, that's what I was using for a while on my Python. Was I had one of the really fine mesh like filter bags, and I was putting that when I was doing my shrimp tank when I was really trying to crank out the shrimp population. But now I'm kind of like, you know what? If I sink up a shrimp or something, it's well.
Yeah.
Natural selection.
Yeah. Natural selection going right back into what it's supposed to be in anyway.
Yeah. But. See, do we recommend microworms or banana worms for fry? I feed microworms all the time because I'm lazy and I don't want to deal with baby brine shrimp. So.
Yeah. I had mine and then I killed them. So.
I'm the same. I had my microworms and I was experimenting with spirulina powder and another powder.
Were you just doing oatmeal?
I think you were doing paprika in it too, right?
Yes, that's what it was. Thank you. Was paprika. but I forgot about them actually, and they turned into a soup. So I recommend them.
Yeah.
My goal is to definitely do baby brine. I think I'm actually going to be more consistent with baby brine than I will microworms.
Well, Trent, do we want to put out our idea, or do we want to wait on
So we can put it out.
Yeah.
I will have to talk with you after the stream, because I found some more information out on that actually.
Oh, okay, perfect. Research, people. Research.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Oh, yes, you do, because you're coming out here to do it with us.
I need.
I know what you're talking about. Your
See,
project.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
We need your drone footage for it.
Yeah,
I don't have a drone.
Now everyone in the chats can be like, what are they talking about? They are not saying anything serious here. They just keep talking around.
That really would be a good video, though. It would be. I would definitely make the drive to Utah specifically for that.
Okay, well, if you're officially saying it, maybe we shouldn't say it on the stream and just wait and have everybody wait now.
Yeah, I'm down. I'll make it out to Utah.
Okay,
I will guarantee myself
everybody
out there.
on this chat, just spam Michael and say, go to Utah, do the video with them, even though you have no idea what it is. Come to Utah. It'll be great.
I'm going to do it. It'll be a good video. Let's see.
We got. Can I go back in the chat? So
Yeah.
It's one. So Cichlids 23. What's a good topwater fish to go with CPDs in a 20 gallons? So that's the Celestial Pearl Danios.
Ooh, I haven't had CPDs before, so I wouldn't know size requirements really as far as like what they would be able to fit in their mouths or what they will fit in their mouths.
They're kind of like a size of like a White Cloud minnow, right? But just a little taller.
I think they get a little bulkier too.
Yeah.
So
maybe what I would suggest is a White Cloud.
Yeah, I mean, I would be afraid of putting like baby, killifish or something in there because I just don't know if the CPDs would touch them. But killifish are always top dweller fish. I mean, you could probably put guppies and stuff in there and not have any problems.
Or even something like what are they called? The hatchfish with the little shotgun mouths.
Oh, the hatchet. That's actually probably a great idea.
Yeah. Or a pencilfish might work too.
Pencilfish too. Yeah.
Yeah, pencilfish are pretty cool.
Yeah, they should be big enough to not get eaten by the CPDs.
Yeah. Or you could probably do half beaks.
Yeah.
Half beaks might
that is on my bucket list of fish to keep.
Yeah, that one's on that breeding program paperwork, and I was looking into them the other day, trying to figure out if I wanted to jump into that or not. So,
if you wanna go in on them, I have a source for them.
Oh. Yeah, you're starting more things, man. Courtney's not going to be happy with you.
Well, just I promise they're not going to get you infected, and I'm not going to get that joke.
Let's see. I make rapashi mixed with freeze-dried Daphnia, and all my fish love it. So I actually just got my my first jar of rapashi. I was at my local fish store. I was going in specifically for the Community Plus, and he didn't have any in stock, but he's like, here, I've got this. I don't even remember what it was. It was like a bottom feeder one. He's like, I know you've got Corey's and that, and that stuff smells.
Is it
so
called
bad.
the bottom scratcher?
Something like that, yeah.
We're gonna Google this.
Yeah, I've got it. So I've got a picture of it somewhere.
Yeah, rapashi definitely smells, but that's also a good sign of something that's actually
something that's
good.
actually that's actually decent.
Because if you think about it,
bottom scratcher.
Yeah,
bottom scratcher.
Because your fish are going to smell it.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, that means they're going to eat it.
Well, seeing like my platies went crazy for it, the shrimp went crazy for it, the snails obviously went crazy for it. The rice fish didn't really touch it. Granted, it is a bottom feeder formula. I get that. And yeah, the platies kind of went for it. And, but yeah, I mean, it seems like a cool food, but it's still sitting in my fridge. I still need to chop it up and put it in the freezer, like Peter said, because that gets rid of the smell when you're feeding it.
Yes. Yeah, I pretty much use rapashi more for like a medicine delivery system. So like when I get a new fish of any kind, usually, a guppy or whatever, I'm going to deworm them. And deworming with rapashi is so much easier than just dumping stuff into a tank, because you can actually get it into their system quicker. Because as everyone who's kept guppies more than likely has run into the nasty red worm that comes out and just destroys fish. So having it go into their system and instantly hit those eggs and have them drop them in your quarantine setup is definitely the way to go.
So let's see. What kind of music is best for water changes from Logan, who keeps messaging me on my phone, even though we're live streaming? And, I'm a big, like, kind of everything fan. I listen to everything from, like, Bay Area street rap all the way down to like Disney princess stuff. It's just kind of, my shuffle's real all over the place. Like,
if my daughter's helping me, I have to do Disney princess.
Yeah, Frozen soundtrack all the way.
No, don't put that curse on me yet.
No, every time I tell I'm not going to say the second word because then everyone's thing will trigger in their home. But every time I say my Amazon, you should play me music, it ends up playing me Taylor Swift. So Taylor Swift's been in my...
classic Taylor Swift, like way back in the beginning.
Yeah, man.
Love story and all that. I can get down to some classic.
Yeah, so I mean, every time I'm in a fish room now, it's just, I say, play me some music, and T Swift comes on. So I've been rocking out to T Swift for like the past month.
Like I said, that T Swizzle, man, you can't complain.
And I don't know where it got the idea that I wanted to listen to that, because I don't have any of my Spotify, nothing has it in there.
Your fiance listening to it?
No, she doesn't really. We're more of a Lizzo family.
Alexa knows your true desires. It's
You said it. Now everyone's thing is getting all messed up in their houses.
See, he doesn't have one. He doesn't. I'm a Google guy, so
I have 3 of them in my house, but that's not one in the fish room yet.
Yeah, I've got like 5 of them in here. So every time I say it, it's just like boop 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 boop.
Well, see, I do have a Google Home at my office. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, see, now we could just say Google. And then now everyone's thing is going to be going off.
It's Hey Google, and I've got headphones. I just triggered it. Yeah, and my phone. But yeah, let's see. Go to Utah. Yeah, planning on it. I'm going to make it out there sometime this year. I'm going to make it out to Utah. I don't know when exactly, but sometime I will.
So Courtney raised a booing us.
Yeah, I know. I just saw that.
I'll say this, and I don't think it may give it away. It may not. Utah, especially Salt Lake, is known for one thing. It's not religion, but there's one specific thing that it's known for, and it's going to revolve around that.
Yeah, and Courtney Riley is my fiance, so she's
just giving us a bad time.
Just listening, yeah. she's just giving us some good times of it.
She's just being a supportive fiance.
Yeah, I asked her if she wanted to listen to the stream while I was on it, and she's like, "Isn't that kind of weird being in the same house while listening to the stream?" I'm like, yeah, a little bit, but it's fine. So, and I can hear her laughing.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I have a 75-gallon. My tap out of the gate has high ammonia, and a friend in the hobby says to try it since only a 50% change every 2. Oh, I'm assuming, Mark, you're probably the same one that was asking about the RO water from Walmart. I don't know how high your ammonia is, but in the summertime, my ammonia actually comes out of the tap at about 0.5. And I just put it in the tank with Prime, and within that 24 hours, it gets rid of it. My cycle kicks in.
Neutralizes all that.
Yeah.
So if it's something where you're coming out of the tap like 4 ppm, yeah, you'd probably have to look into either some RO system. But at that point, I would almost do like what Trent does and have one at your house. It's going to be cheaper in the long run.
You will save yourself so much money. If you're going down that route, Old Creek Supply is the place to get it. They come out of the box, already assembled, and then they have carbon blocks that are specifically designed to remove ammonia, chloramines, all that garbage out of it. And you'll love yourself for not having to drive to Walmart, pick up a jug, bring it home, and all that kind of a thing.
And you're back, because you're saying 75 and 50% water changes. That's a lot of those little jugs.
Well, and that's also a lot of trash. I mean,
yeah, that too.
I mean, we're fish people, so we want to keep as much plastic and stuff out of the water as we can. And that's a lot of plastic. So unless you're figuring out a way to recycle all that.
Well, don't they refill them?
Oh, they can. Yeah, you can go to those little like tap fill stations, but still, that's a lot of lugging buckets.
Yeah, it's back and forth, and at least 8 of them.
I actually want to do an experiment with that, because my concern about where you can actually go refill it. What is their maintenance on those? Like, there's probably going to be I'm drawing a blank here. And I have an RO filter. I imagine there's some kind of carbon in there. I want to try it. Go back a week later. Try it again. Go back a week later. So I do it for like a month straight.
And see how it is.
And see if it's consistent, or if it's going to start getting like TDS creep, which is your total dissolved solids. Is it going to start creeping ammonia in there? So and I've seen a couple of videos or Instagram posts or something where a couple of people have gone to like various Walmarts and tested every single RO machine with like a TDS pen, and every single one of them's got like 150 TDS, even on like a
a new one. And I just saw a comment that I thought was a good. Where did I see it? Use a garden hose pre-filter. I haven't actually thought of that because that would work in the Python system, and I could even use something like that.
Yeah, because didn't you do like a crazy?
I have a quick release valve on my Python system, so where the actual hose connects to the sink. I got tired of unscrewing that, and it was starting to eat away at the plastic, and the plastic wasn't holding its shape. So I switched to an actual hose quick release, so I could pop that in and out each time. And yeah, I could easily pop in a little section right there, and for vacuuming it out, just take it out, and then once I go to put the thing in, that's a good idea. I'm gonna have to look into that a little more.
Yeah, another thing that they could do is they could do safe. I mean, if you're running that much water with that much ammonia, put a stronger, additive in.
Yeah, do a bigger dose of safe.
I think Zenzo did didn't he do a video on that? It's like an RV filter that hooks up to an RV for the water change. I think he did one of those.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at RV filter. That's a good idea too. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. That's definitely something I'm gonna have to look into.
Yeah, see, there's all sorts of ideas you can do. You just have to ask other people about them. So
that's why we're the think tank.
Yeah, we're sitting here getting my mind going, And sorry, Maria, for triggering your house. Didn't mean to.
Yeah,
I triggered my studio. I triggered my whole studio here too.
Make people mad. Make people mad.
Yeah, and hey, everyone who's just joining us, we got a bunch of we got a little surge.
Guppy boy just came in,
and Chewy too.
And it looks like Mr. B put us out on the fish tubers notification, so that's probably what's going on.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Have you guys?
Hey, Guppy boy, good to see you.
Yeah, Mark Thomas, we were talking about it.
What do you guys think about Northfin Foods?
Oh, did I miss one? I have not fed Northfin Foods personally.
I have not either.
I refuse to because I'm not going to pay for it.
Yeah, it's always seemed expensive, and everyone I talk to either super loves it or goes, it's just the same as every other fish food, and I bet up until about a month ago when the co-op sent me all those extreme foods, I was feeding pretty much exclusively omega-1 and fluval, simply for the reason where it's available locally. So if I run out, and I'm poor at planning, so a lot of times, like, I was in the middle of water changes Sunday, and I had to go to my fish store to get Prime because I ran out of water conditioner in the middle of the water change. And so I like to get things locally just because it's there. And then the other thing too is if it's available locally to me, it's usually available locally to everyone else. And I have a bunch of like teacher friends and that they don't want to order from the co-op online. They don't want to order from Amazon. They don't want to, they want to go to PetSmart and they want to buy it at PetSmart and have a place that if it doesn't work, they can return it or whatever. So I try to, not that I'm a big chain store fan, but I try to kind of pull most of my products and use most of my stuff from the common chain stores just because that's what most people have access to. And then there's some exceptions like the extreme stuff they sent out, and I really like the extreme line, but again, that's not for everyone. Not everyone wants to order it online. And right now, the only place I know that you can buy it is the co-op and
Walmart
with the shipping in
And
Florida.
Walmart's getting it.
Yeah,
Florida.
I just typed in extreme foods yesterday just to look at top searches or whatever, and Walmart was selling it online.
Yeah, see, that's another thought.
That's good though, because Peter was talking about the omega-1 pellets for feeding his guppies, and that's available at every PetSmart Petco, I think.
Yeah, and omega-1's actually made in Alaska, which I didn't know.
I didn't know that either.
Until I went up there to Alaska and did that fish store tour, and I was talking to the guys up there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, omega-1's made right down the road from us." I was like, "What?" So it's real Alaskan salmon in here. So it's really the high quality stuff. They're using just all the offcuts and stuff of what you're going to be, buying at a Costco or a Walmart or wherever. This is Alaskan salmon. So
yeah, I'm still a big omega-1 fan. I still think it's a quality food.
I mean, if you look at the percentage of I've got it sitting right here. That's why I'm kind of looking off screen. It's 42% crude protein. So, and that's the minimum.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty dang high for out of the container. And it's not too expensive.
No, it is fairly priced.
Yeah, the one thing I wish omega-1 did do though is make like an extreme size container. That's because
a bigger.
Yeah, this is not doable for 31.
Oh, for your pellets. Yeah. Well, see, and I wish that Extreme made a bigger flake container. Like, I've got their big one. I don't even think the co-op sells that big of one, and I'm already like a third of the way through it. I've only had it for a month.
Yeah, I have the largest sizes of it, and I'm burning through it.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a good food. My fish go crazy for it. Even my wild caught stuff, they go crazy for those krill flakes.
Yep.
It's a good food.
I'm just
That's
letting you guys use them all, and then once I can get a hold of them, I will.
Well, see, and the funny thing is, I know in my video when I had the first impressions, I talked about my shrimp not really liking the shrimp pellets. I don't know if it was like a learning curve or what, but after about a week, they go crazy for them now, just as much as the Shrimp King. And so it's a pleasant surprise. I'm glad because I don't have to, kind of, I don't want to say waste, but feed this food that they don't like. But they seem to really like it now, and it's like, I'm happy about that. So I'm talking to a couple people in my club. They're like, I have shrimp that don't like the Shrimp King, but they love the extreme stuff. So it's, it's back to that. Every fish has different taste.
Exactly. It is. It's all about trying things out. I mean, that's why if you're going to buy a new fish food that you never tried before, buy the small one.
Yes.
Because if they don't like it, you can easily give it away to someone. But if it's the massive one and you spend $60 on it, you're going to want to use all of it because you spend a lot of money on it. But if your fish don't like it, you're not getting the nutrients. So
I'm sitting on about, I have it here in my fish room. I'm sitting on about $30 of food right now that my fish won't touch.
Yep. Yeah, I have a problem with buying things.
It's they don't necessarily market the food towards your fish. They market it towards you.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I watch one of your guys' videos. And you're like, yeah, this is the best food. My whatever loves it, and I'll go on and I'll buy it, and then my strain of whatever is just like, I ain't touching that. And
Sarah tabs, the little things that Corey loves.
Yeah.
None of my fish will touch it.
Oh,
it literally falls onto the ground and it just goes up, and no one touches it.
I have tried my rice fish. I tried my guppies. I've tried my old guppies. I've tried everything. I've never got the swarming action to the front of the glass.
I get it every tank. Every tank, they just right into that thing.
Well, see, I thought maybe it was a learning curve. I went through a whole packet in the same tank and feeding it every other day, and it just never got to that point.
Huh.
But
yeah, usually that's a pretty good hitter with almost any fish. So
yeah, no, I mean, I like the Sarah Foods. It's just for some reason.
Have you tried the algae one that you for the bottom feeders?
I have not. I still need to pick up the Micron.
That one is really good. The Sarah pellet, the veggie ones, I throw it one in for my plecos or my super reds, and they just go crazy for it.
My
guppies do.
Yeah, my local fish store swears by the Sarah breeder formula. It's the green lid one. That's probably, I think it's the most expensive one Sarah makes, but he swears by it. He fed his discus that, and he's been breeding discus for 40-something years. He swears by that. He goes, everything I've ever had has always eaten it.
Yeah.
So there's a question I want to go back to, but it's a real quick one. Mr. Bees is asking if we have a regular schedule for our live streams. We talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the stream. It took us a solid month to set this time up. So I don't know if we're on a set schedule yet.
Yeah, we'll try to do it at least regularly, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe at least once a month, if not more. Hopefully more than that.
I would hope to.
I mean, we all do 3 completely different things for a career, and so we're running 3 different directions at the same time.
And I know mine and Trent's schedules can sometimes we're night people, sometimes we're morning people, sometimes we're.
My bedtime is 9 o'clock, and I wake up at 6. So yeah.
I was gonna say sometimes I message the group at 2 a.m, and Trent's up and replying to it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I just got up for work," and other times he's like, "Yeah, I'm just going to bed. See ya."
Yeah, I'm the one that wakes up and I just get 48 messages from you guys. I'm like, oh my goodness.
But it's the best though when you at 3 a.m, you send a message to us basically saying shut up and let us
It's usually not me, it's usually Courtney going, what the heck is happening?
Just put us on mute.
Well, I tried, it just keeps going. Just
my phone.
Bright screen.
So Maria asked us
the live or fake plants.
Live or fake plants, yep.
Yeah, I was gonna pop into that one. I'm a big live plant person. I know I've given Maria a bunch of live plant trimmings and stuff. I think you guys are too.
Yeah.
Heck, most of my live plants, actually, now I'm thinking about it, all the live plants I gave to Maria came from Trent originally. So.
Oh, would you look at that?
Yeah.
Well, Maria, if you don't have any floating plants yet, you want to try some, reach out to me on Instagram.
She's got them.
Does she have the red root floaters?
No, she doesn't have the red root floaters, but she has duckweed. She has a serious duckweed problem right now.
Yeah,
no one doesn't have duckweed. Yeah.
You know, I actually have a pretty good problem where I have too much salvinia. So I gave a bunch to Trent, and I've been taking like bags over to my fish store and just giving them to them, and they've been able to sell them all out, which has been pretty nice for them. So, you know,
but I love live plants. I will say though, it was a learning curve for me. Our local fish store, mine and Peter's, that was actually the first time I ever bought live plants. I tied a lead fishing weight to it and put it into my clown puke gravel. And when it died, that's actually when I found the Aquarium Co-op's channel and started learning of the nutrients and like what it entails. And ever since then, I've been hooked.
Yeah. Well, see, and like that was my biggest issue. Is at the start I didn't know what plants to buy, and so I was just hitting PetSmart and buying those little gel container things.
Yep.
And half of those plants that I bought, when I went back and looked, they weren't even aquatic plants. They were like, terrestrial plants, and so they were just dying. And the other thing I didn't know that I had learned from the co-op eventually was that they melt back. And so I had all these plants that would melt back, and then I'd pull the roots and throw them away. And I'm just like, oh, it's died on me. Okay, yeah. And I finally got to the point where I'm like, okay, good fertilizer. Trent was like, hey, I've got a bunch of good low light, easy to grow plants. And I mean, you guys have seen my tank. I trim my tank every week, and it's constantly. It's the the pogo stemmen. Yeah, that pogo stemmen, and I gave some of that to Maria too, and it just goes crazy.
That's why I bought it, is because you have such good success with it. I wanted to see if me and my hard water could have the same stuff going on.
Yeah,
it goes insane.
Yeah,
I do use root tabs, Maria. I saw you just asked that. I use root tabs, and I use Aquarium Co-op Easy Green that I put in the water every week. I just do a 1 dose at the beginning of the week, and I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, and then as far as root tabs, I put Aquarium Co-op root tabs when I started the tanks. I've never replaced the root tabs, and most of my tanks have been up for more than 6 months. And then I have that dirted tank that I'm really enjoying. But I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, Trent, I don't think right now you've got anything planted.
Well, I do. My filterless tank
your
is
filterless,
planted.
yeah.
And then everything else has the Java moss I got from you has gotten split between a bunch of tanks. Then I have the red root floaters in all the tanks, but the main planted is the filterless tank, and I've got to figure something out because the crypts are even starting to die because the red root and duckweed is literally blocking everything.
Yeah. Your idea the other day though that you said about that kitchen tool that you were trying out.
I'm so excited for this video. I cannot wait to make that video.
Once you said that, I'm like, oh my God, he's a genius. He is an absolute genius. And I went out and bought myself one. So it's already catching on, man. I don't know if Michael's been in on that one.
I was gonna say I have no idea what they're talking about. I know I think I sent, was it last night? There was a video in one of the Facebook groups or whatever, of someone using one of the Afro picks and picking up the red root floaters.
You said that today, yeah.
And I thought that was a good idea.
That is a great idea.
Fu the flower horn uses one in all of his videos, and I that's why I was so excited when you said it, because I could never figure out what he was using. But again, I don't know what the proper. I just know out here everyone I know calls them Afro picks. That's but
yeah. And then for me, I've got. I mean, I kind of went a little different than most people do with fish tanks, where I did like a couple years of research before I even got my first one. Like, I've been watching Trent's channel for like 2 years, almost since he started. Same with you, Michael. Right when you started, I pretty much found your channel.
Yep.
And then Co-op and everyone I've been following for a long, long time. So I kind of had a little bit more ahead of the game than most. So this actually right here is my first tank, the 45 tall, and it did have just the plastic plants when I bought it. So I just threw those in there. But then 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, I got plant after plant after plant after plant. And, jungle val, anubias, hornwort, kabamba, guppy grass, bunch of stuff like that.
Crypts have been a favorite of mine recently. Crypto Winded-Eye. I really like crypts. Booses are really nice. They're kind of like an Anubias. Easy to grow. That Boost Catherine that Trent gave me a while back, I absolutely love. And then Bacopia is my other thing that I'm really enjoying right now. It turns pink in the like in my dirted tank. There's a little bit of sun that hits it for the first like hour or two of the day, and it turns a super bright pink. And then the rest of the day it kind of fades into a green, and it's super nice to watch. I just love it.
Yeah, we've got some Reineke or Reineke plant in Courtney's 30-gallon bow front with the CO2, and that is just a gorgeous plant. Absolutely gorgeous plant.
Okay, go.
Is that Tucker?
We got some body invasion.
Yeah. He just dropped a big old slobber bomb on me.
That's all right. He's a cutie. Logan wants us to do a starter plant video collab.
Yeah, I keep meaning to do a plant video. To be honest, I'm not the best at plants. I buy the right ones and I stick them in the sand and I dose it with the co-op stuff every week, and I have plants.
See, and that's a debate I want to start. I want to do a video on. Is sand can be really good or really bad, but I've had great success with sand.
Yeah, and I don't like the look of gravel. I mean, I know we've talked about this before, and now I have gravel in all my breeding tanks, which I like the look of.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Peter. And but in my big tanks, the closest I have is the dirted tank, where I have it dirted, but I have it capped with sand with a little bit of pea gravel mixed in, just for that kind of natural look. I don't like the look of just straight gravel. It doesn't look natural to me. It looks way off. The sand looks a lot more natural. Even the black sand looks a lot more natural to me.
Yeah, I could see that. I use a lot of Eco Complete though, which is kind of that mix of both.
See, and I've never used a planted soil like that.
Yeah, I really like Eco Complete. I think it's really solid substrate. I mean, you could pretty much put anything into it and it'll grow. And I like how it's a little bit more of a rock kind of texture, so that it actually holds the plants in. Where if you have a sand, it's just gonna poof, come back right up, and then you have plants like in here. I replant my jungle val every day. I got this new tool at the dollar store. This is the weirdest thing I've ever bought for aquascaping, but
I'm really curious.
Let's see if anyone can guess what this is.
Looks like a half of a bamboo for like a decoration.
Can anyone guess what this is in the chat?
Oh, that's a shoehorn.
It's a shoehorn.
Now I see the handle. I have one of those.
So I'm using this for my 45 tall because I've got my other dollar store contraption, which is just one of those long handle grabbers. Okay. And this is now my new 45 tall shovel. So I've been using this to shovel stuff back and forth, and it works great. Huh. So dollar store trick for you there. If you go to the dollar store, grab that for a shovel.
So the best sand I've actually ever had was the Carib Sea Supernaturals, I think it is.
I've heard good things about that one.
Yeah.
Plants grow insane in that. In my first tank when I first got my old Fahaka buffer, I had Crypspiralis, Crypwendedi that I couldn't control. And it was insane how well they did. And the root structure on those plants were the best I've actually ever had. And that's just the Carib Sea Supernatural sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've used Carib Sea once. I know my brother uses it in his saltwater tank, and he really likes it. So, and Maria, yes, you're right. It is a shoe thingy. Yep, shoe thingy.
That's Michael's favorite word, by the way.
Yep,
shoe
thingy.
Yes. Thingy. It's a thingy. Let's see here. What's up, Veronica? If I remember right, I think you're the Veronica I met in San Francisco. I can't remember though. I know I met a Veronica in San Francisco. I can't remember which one. But yeah, and then Young Fish Aquatics. I don't know who's next. We're just kind of doing this as a one-off. This isn't like a weekly thing for us. So yeah, this is just when we were all available. So
this is just us, what we normally do anyway.
Yeah, but just on camera.
Messenger, just on camera with all of you guys.
Yeah,
that's a very good way to put it. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pretty much what we do every day.
So. Yeah, all day.
I mean, you guys are lucky enough to kind of come into it here because it's kind of just we literally think tank all day, every day. Throw each other's video ideas at each other, see if it'll stick. A lot of them don't.
Get feedback.
Not great. Yeah.
I mean, what we're like, let's see. today we were talking about greenhouses.
Greenhouses, yeah.
That was our big
And
discussion.
greenhouses wasn't even on my mind, and now I've got plans for one, and I'm like, I don't know.
Think Tank will get you spending money, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Roxana likes the Black Diamond Blasting Sand from Tractor Supply. That's what I use. That's my favorite. I know a lot of people hate that one specifically for plants because it compacts so deep, but I have, really good luck with crypts and everything else like that, too.
Yeah, and I mean, just look at the price of it, too.
Yeah, it's super cheap. Super cheap.
I mean, even if you kill a couple plants, you're still cheaper in the soil than, you can go out and get another plant.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really not that bad. Or mix in some, like all mine are either Eco-Complete or they're like the Home Depot sand and the Home Depot gravel. It's
the Quick Right, what is it, pool filter sand, and then just the regular pea gravel.
I mean, cheap will still work for you. You just have to, do a little bit of research, look into it a little bit, make sure you're washing it. And you should be able to make it fine. So
yeah, exactly. And I do buy the medium size, and I know people that have the medium size that say that it hasn't done well for them. But again, in my experience, I haven't had an issue with it. So
it's actually used the pool filtration, like the actual pool filtration sand from a pool supply store in most of my tanks, my old fish room. And I'm going to be using that carrot seed in one particular tank, and I plan on using the black the blasting sand in another particular tank.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone here is not subscribed. Definitely subscribe to both or all three of the channels here. I know Trent's building the fish room.
Yep.
You're coming in March, and I know Michael's doing. I'm pointing in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
That way. I know he's doing quite a few things that are going to be pretty exciting.
I say I'm doing a lot of stuff that's planned for like 6 months down the road, but it'll be cool when it comes out.
What's kind of interesting behind the scenes is how long it takes to plan some of the stuff that we do. I
have packages
that
been sitting down in my basement for months now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just your Manzanita order.
Yeah, how long had that been sitting there?
6 months.
Well, speaking of, Adam, Houston Manzanita just joined our stream, joined the chat.
Oh, he did?
Hey, we were just talking. I got my big piece of wood from Adam. That's Houston Manzanita. That's the place to go.
I had that package July of last year. So I've sat on it, and so Adam's asking us our favorite type of wood to use, and of course he's probably trolling us in the chat here.
He definitely is.
But after using it, and I have geeked out of this so hard, it's kind of embarrassing. The ghost wood is by far my favorite type of wood to use now.
Yeah, when you pulled that out of the box, I had already placed my order, and I was like, dang it, now I want that.
I will have Manzanita wood in my tanks. I'm going to have spider wood in my tanks. But the Manzanita wood, and I'm super excited for those 4-foot logs I have. I actually have some in my Pleco tank right now, and the character on it is like nothing I've ever seen. The Manzanita wood, it's beautiful, but it kind of looks like a branch, where the ghost wood almost looks petrified, just with the
really
grooves
cool.
that it has in it.
It kind of looks like bone. Wouldn't you say it kind of looks like almost like a dinosaur bone?
Yeah, I think of the smaller pieces it would.
Yeah.
Well, see, what I really want to play with is Adam keeps posting pictures of that black Siru stone with the white lines through it.
Oh,
and I was looking for that for a while, and I was like, man, I really want some, but I couldn't find it, and he didn't have any in stock when I redid my tank. And
I think he just restocked, so you might want
I know, I just,
I
don't know if I want to spend the money on it. I have Dragonstone now.
Well, Trent's got a discount code if he wants to throw it out.
He does have a discount code.
There is a discount code. Adam was kind enough to work with me on that, so he's, how do I put it, kind of a unofficially official channel sponsor. I've worked with Adam since the beginning of my hobby. Great guy. So Wel-Don 20 will get you 20% off your entire order, and that is across his entire website. So I recently just did an unboxing from Adam. I boxed 2 packages of Hardscape and then a big box of Pleco Caves. So Adam definitely has some good hookups going on.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the thing I like about Adam is I know when I got my order in from Adam, this was probably about a year ago. Trent recommended them, and I go, okay, I've got a 75 tank. I want a big piece of wood. This is how much money I have, and what do you have? And he sent me like 15 different options, and I'm like, that one. I want that one. And it was shipped to my door. It was there a couple days later, super easy. And it looks, now it's hard to see in my tank because everything's grown into it. But if you go back on my channel, I did a Houston Manzanito video, and you can see what it looks like just with the tank in the sand, and it's a nice piece of wood. So good price.
But every time I've ordered from Adam, I get a personal message when it's the, hey, did your package make it? So he actually notifies me my package arrived even before my USPS shipping notification does. So Adam is on top of it.
Well, I'll tell Adam, since he's on the stream, that my package arrived today. So
hopefully you got a message on
yeah. See, I should do a new tank setup, but I just redid like 4 tanks. It's like,
yeah, my problem.
I'm thinking ponds for summer.
Yeah, I've got 31, so it's kind of one of those. Which one next?
I think we're all thinking. Well, I know which one's next, and that one's going to be great.
Oh, I know which one you're doing next, and it is going to be incredible.
No, I'm talking yours too, though.
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Well, I got a couple.
There's some deep-rooted inspiration for this next 20-gallon tank of yours.
There is. There definitely is. It's going to be pretty funny and incredible.
I am getting hounded on Instagram to get that 90 cube done.
And when you do, people are going to go crazy.
So I've reached out to. God, man, we're leaving so many open.
Yeah, this is.
Yes.
It's just making people subscribe to our channels is all it's doing.
That's the goal. I'm hoping you guys can catch up to me. Me and Trent for a while were racing to 1,000, and it's like
you blew past me.
For a while, you were way ahead of me. I was like, man, he's gonna beat me to 1,000.
No, but I reached out to a specific supplier today to try and set up a time to pick up what I want for that 90 cube. So we're hoping.
That'll be fun. That'll be.
I know who that supplier is, and they're going to be beautiful.
Very excited.
Yeah.
Also, I want to snag this question since we're talking aquascaping. The Arroyo families asked us about carpeting plants. I've had microsword. I still have microsword in my shrimp tank, my 10-gallon shrimp tank with crypt, and I sent some of that to Trent actually in your filterless tank. And I don't know how well it's doing. I haven't looked at it. And then in my 75.
It needs more light, and I have too many floating plants.
Okay, yeah. We'll see. And then in my 75, I bought a 12-inch by 12-inch mat of dwarf hair grass off of eBay for like $30. And I was like, you know what? Even if it dies, I just want to see how this thing comes in. And I tore it apart from the mat because I didn't want to, leave it there. And I kind of put like golf ball size pieces all around my 75. And it started to kind of die back, and now it's growing great in my black diamond blasting sand. And so it's slow growing, but I'm excited for when that fully grows in. That'll look really nice.
Yeah, I just bought the same thing off eBay, the massive sheet of it. I think it was like $40, and then it came with some other plants too. But yeah, that's dwarf hairgrass is pretty easy. There's not much to it. Baby tears will take a little bit more work. And then it's just kind of hard when you get anything from a seed.
Yeah.
Because
I've heard those die off, don't they?
Yeah, like I put them in my.
Peter had a rough time.
Yeah, my 10-gallon. I did. I think I did dwarf baby tears, if I remember correctly. It was just one of those no-name bags off Wish. I wanted to see if what would happen, and it propagated perfectly when I was doing the immersed. Immersed is out of water. Yeah. Immersed. Put water on it and just death. All of it died. There was I think when I just broke that tank down the other day, I think when there was 3 little stems left out of probably 500 seeds. So it's kind of hard when you do it that way, but if you can get the mat of grass or some established plant, you're going to have a lot better luck with that for sure.
Well, the thing I liked about that mat was the roots. I don't know about yours, but the root system on mine was taller than the plant. Yeah, it was super nice roots, and I was just happy with that. I was like, if it completely dies back, I'm gonna be super happy with it.
Yeah.
But
no, I probably got it from the same guy as you.
Yeah. So. Let's see. And then Maria's asking about axolotls, and 808 is talking about it. I don't know about you guys, but I know in California they're actually illegal. So I can't get one, and Maria can't get one either. They're invasive here. So
I have I met a guy at a Reptile Expo of all places. My buddy was wearing a previously Well-Don Aquatics hoodie, and I met a guy out of Idaho that breeds and imports. What do you call it? It's like the translucent effect. Like you put a black light over it, and they glow.
Huh.
So I think they're cool. They're a little too derpy for my full take.
I like derpy. I think they're great.
Well, see, and the other issue that I have with it is, like I said, my water's hot, so
Yeah, you don't have that luck. Like MD fish tanks, I got Trent turned on onto his channel, and he's got
he's got some nice axolotls.
Gorgeous tank that he just set up for Poncho. I mean, that's Pancho the axolotl.
Well, he's got that new shed or whatever he just set up, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
He's like Trent though. Like,
yeah.
I mean, people have watched Trent's channel. They know, like, they see your tanks. They think the room's big, but it's a little laundry room, man, and you've got it just stuffed in there, and it's beautiful. Like, I've been there, and it's just like, okay, I did not think that tank was going to be on top of that tank.
Well, see, I still get asked for tours of my fish room all the time, and I'm like, it's my closet. There's not really a room to tour. It's kind of like what you see is what it is.
Nope. So we missed JT Zamora asked a while ago if we plan on attending any shows like Aquashella.
So
I really want to go to one, but I think it's the same for all of us that I can't justify the expense.
Not at this moment, at least.
No.
But I know, Michael, you're going to the ACA, right?
I'll be at ACA. My Sacramento Aquarium Society, we're hosting the Aquatic Cichlid Association this year up in Sacramento, and that's only 2 hours from me, so I'm going to go to that one, and I'll be there pretty much every day, talking to Wiley, our club president. There's going to be a YouTuber's booth there, so if any of you other YouTuber people want to come out, let me know. I can get you guys onto a list or something. I don't know, something. Get you hanging out at the booth. I don't know how often I'll be there and how often I'll be running around the show, but I really want to go to like an Aquashella or something, but my biggest problem is, one, I don't like crowds, just personally. I don't like crowds and lines. Yeah. And two, it's that expense. It's expensive. If I'm going to spend a couple $1,000s, I'd rather go out to Utah and film with you guys than go to Aquashella,
Yeah.
So the ACA is close enough for me. Me and Michael have been in conversation. Unfortunately, Peter will be out of town unless I drag him with me.
Yep, in Cody, Wyoming.
I'm making plans to be out to the ACA. I really want to go do it. I have the weekend off, so I need to get some rice fish cranking out so I can pay the gas money out there.
Yeah, well, they will. And then Trent and I are both going to be going to there's a show here in Utah. It's the IFGA's first show of the year. Is going to be here in Salt Lake, and it's going to be March 28th and 29th. And it's just the IFGA Guppy show. It's going to be incredible. I'm really excited for that. They're going to get. I was just talking with president, or not the president anymore. He just stepped down from that role. Just got demoted. Yeah, he stepped down from the role. He'd been doing it for 2 years from the Utah Fancy Guppy Association. But just talking to him today, and he said he's locking down some speakers, and he is super excited about some of them. So hopefully that list will be coming out. He said this weekend, I think, is when he's going to try to put it out, and I'll throw that out for you guys. But Trent and I are going to go. We're going to hopefully do some filming with those guys. Looking forward to that. There are going to be some incredible fish at that for sure.
Yeah.
So
when Adam's asking about plant selections for Blackwater, I haven't done Blackwater. I know Trent's done Blackwater. I don't know if you have, Peter.
I haven't yet.
So I've played with it a few times. The one that I set up right before I tore down my fish room is actually probably my favorite tank, and that's when I set my Michael on my plants. But I recommend the crypt like Deadeye or some kind of crypt species. They seem to do well in the tannins. They seem in the bronze coloration on them, in my opinion, goes really well with the tannin water. I think it looks really good. So I would load it up with crypts personally.
Well, I mean, you could probably do Anubias too. Anubias isn't really too much of a light hog.
Well, I mean, Java Moss prefers lower light, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I have plethora of Java Moss and Guppy grass. I mean, I got like 2 sprigs of guppy grass. Oh, is that Sophie? It's Sophie.
You're gonna guest appearance on the live stream.
Sophie.
You are live, baby. Say hi.
Hi. She's so cute, guys. She's the cutest. Where was I? Oh, I got 2 sprigs of guppy grass, and I put that in one of my tanks, and now I have like maybe 7 full 10 gallons that are just full of guppy grass. So more plants than I know what to do with half the time.
Yeah, I thought I got rid of all my guppy grass like 3-4 months ago. I thought I pulled all of it out, and I still find random strands of it just growing in tank, and I'm like, whatever.
Well, it's usually a floating plant is what most people think, but then it does root. If it hits that substrate and it roots, you're never getting it out.
Yeah, it's just
so kind of get rid of it before you get it.
Yeah. Let's see, and then 7-inch Jack Dempsey has a hole in the head. I've been trying to treat with salt, but it doesn't look like it's helping. I adopted the fish like that, doing water changes, but it doesn't seem to help. Any suggestions? I have not dealt with hole in the head.
I have not either, unfortunately.
Is it I think it's mainly bacterial. So that's going to be, is it the erythromycin?
Yeah.
So I think you can potentially cure it, but you're never going to get rid of the actual indent of the hole in the head. I had an old fish. What was it? I had a tiger barb. I lost 3 of them. My original tiger barbs, I lost 3 of them to a hole in the head like that. And that's before I knew about the medications and all that for fish.
Yeah. Well, I know the co-op just did a 2-hour stream on medication. And I don't think he touched on, I just watched it I didn't watch it live, I watched it the other day. I don't think he touched on hole in the head, but I know he talked about some other, like, just medication-wise things it was a good thing to watch.
A question came through on the stream about hole in the head, but he didn't directly talk about it.
Yeah, I think that's just such a hard topic to lock down a good, cure for, that it's just one of those things that there's not really something that's set in stone,
Yeah.
Let's see, Roxana's asking, how quick to fill up a 10-gallon tank with guppy grass? Peter?
I don't know if you've had hornwort, but hornwort's very similar.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on your light. It depends on what you're fertilizing and what you're feeding. I have one 10-gallon that I pulled out probably a whole gallon Ziploc bag full of guppy grass, and it's completely full again now. And that was 2 months ago. So that tank, for some reason, all the other tanks are just a normal rate of growth. But usually I'll get a good, every time I do a plant clean out, which is usually like every 2 weeks, I'll get about a gallon bag of guppy grass out of the 31 tanks. But I'm running, on the lights, I'm running some of what Michael runs as well, which is what's the name of it?
Beamswork?
Beamswork, yep. I got some good deals on those, on some used ones. And then I got some of the Fluval Eco Plant, I think is what they're called, or Plant Light Eco something. And then just a bunch of the Aquanites. And the one with the Beamswork always grows the most plants. So
I like my Beamswork a lot.
Yeah.
You guys have had good success with those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and Trent's got to come pick up a light for me, so.
You found some crazy deals on those.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, lucky you.
Yeah.
So Sean with the hole in the head, not that Sean has a hole in the head, his fish has a hole in the head, saying he tried Metafix too, and can too much of it be a bad thing? I know Corey talked about that a little bit in his live stream about how Metafix and Pedofix are a natural, like, herb-based medicine. They're not like an actual medication. And he was talking about how for those are almost more of like a preventative medicine than they are like once you actually have a problem. Definitely, I don't use them personally. I just go straight to erythromycin. But
yeah, I mean, I've used them before, just when I notice something happening. And honestly, I just like the smell of it, to be honest.
It smells like medicine, right?
Yeah, no, it smells like a eucalyptus like bath bomb. Like it's just incredible. So whenever we have people coming over, I'll dump a little bit into the 45.
Smell good.
It just smells so good. Like the water doesn't stink at all. Like there's no smell to my tanks, but it's just it smells good.
It's like a what is it? The oil diffuser, but
yeah,
for
like
fish
aromatherapy. 31 gallons or 3,100 gallons of aromatherapy in your house.
Yeah. Well, see, I know Corey talked about that with the PimaFix and the MetaFix. He was saying people like it specifically because it smells like medicine. It smells like it's gonna do something. And I was like, I never thought about that. That's I've never used it, so I know what it smells like, but only to a certain point. I've only smelled it in the store.
Well, it's like Vicks. Like, does Vicks actually do anything, or does it just smell good enough for you to breathe more?
Yeah.
You know, it's like my grandma always put it on my feet. Like, what's that going to do for me? You know?
They trip when you add it.
Maria said they're going to go give the Glofish a try.
They're going to let them go. I think you read that wrong. We're most likely going to have to let our GoFish go.
Oh, the
girls are giving up on their room team.
What? No, they are not. They love their fish. They're just gonna switch it up on you, Maria.
Don't worry, I'll get Sophie into fish and we'll catch up.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just playing you to get that flower horn into their room. That's what they're doing.
See, and I'm going to be the real instigator here and say get rid of that tank in their room, and then contact Peter and find which rack system he's got and get him a whole little rack set up so they can breed in our club.
Yeah. Well, I know. I actually just got a message from one of my subs, and he was like, "Hey, what's exactly the rack that you used?" And he went out and bought 2 of them for his setup. So, it's a good rack.
Yeah. I
like them. And I know Maria's had a couple problems with the girls getting their uncle to buy them tanks. So, and I'm an uncle. I mean, for Christmas, I bought my nephew a 10-foot tall stuffed sloth. So,
that's true.
Just put it on that uncle to do it, and then you'll be fine.
Let's see. They're saying the dangworms are still in the fish. Oh, did you guys have calamar? What is it? Calamaris worms?
Yeah, they had the calamanus worms. Yeah, and those went just crazy in their tank. Unfortunately, they were having all sorts of problems with it, where they treated, and then they did all their gravel vacuum, which was a sand substrate, which is really hard to get rid of the calamanus worms when you have sand because it sucks it all up in there. But they just kept having problems with it, unfortunately.
Well, and that's you have to use the goat dewormer, like that super strong medication for it.
Yeah, you got to hit it hard.
Bendazole usually is a good one for that, or flubendazole. But yeah, I had probably my largest female guppy. She got taken down by the largest mass of those I'd ever seen, and she kept pumping out babies. She probably had 150 babies right before she passed away with the calamanus worms, but it's part of it, unfortunately. It's just something you don't want to have happen to your fish.
Yeah.
So JT Samora is asking about if we've ever used the cichlid tumblers, the egg tumblers. He's currently doing it with his rice fish, and it's working.
Yeah, so
Michael Trent, there you go.
I plan on using an egg tumbler. I have one in my Amazon cart. That's going to be a future video if I can get a certain fish to breed. But for the rice fish, I personally have never picked an egg out of the tank, and I'm up to probably 60-70 fry I need to pull out of the main tank.
See, and I'm the opposite. I've been sitting there hand picking eggs, and I'm up to 5 fry that I can see over 6 months, and I'm trying to get them to breed so hard.
It's the hard water, man. It's the hard
probably
water.
Yeah. I just start adding stuff to mine.
Well, it looks like you need to get an egg tumbler.
And maybe that might be it. Instead of using that little Marina hang-on back box.
Yeah, throw an egg tumbler in there.
Yeah.
I mean, can't you make your own, kind of like a water bottle and some air line or something?
I don't know.
Aren't there a few videos on that?
I've never looked into it.
Spend the $12 on Amazon.
Yeah. When we get to the point of us, it's just kind of like how much is our time worth? Yeah. Unfortunately.
Not to sound pricky or anything.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of projects we have, cooking, and we want to make sure all of our fish are healthy. So it's that extra 2 hours building an egg tumbler might be, 2 hours of water change. So,
Well, what people don't realize is, like if I do a water change, it might take me 10 minutes, but if I do a water change on camera, it now takes me 45 minutes, and it just anything you're doing on YouTube, triple the time at least, and you're still, if you do that, you're making good time.
well, and then you're done filming it and you want to get right to editing it.
Yeah,
And then that's another 3.5, 4 hours.
If not more.
And then you're taking, an hour for a thumbnail. And we were talking about thumbnails the other day and just how long those things take. Me, at least. You guys.
No. You can tell who. You put our 3 channels up, and you're gonna be like, Michael, the professional photographer, Guppy Guru, the professional Photoshop user, and then there's me in the background. You're like, it's kind of blurry, and it looks like he's making a weird face.
Yeah, because I usually take actual pictures for my thumbnails just because I'm more comfortable doing that and getting it all in. But
yeah, I mean, you just have a good photo setup though. Like you know how to take a good photo.
Like I said, I'm in my studio right now. I mean, it's it's what I do.
And Trent and I are just usually loners in our fish rooms, just kind of doing our own thing. So it's hard to take a good picture.
Trent's getting some good stuff with that macro lens. We got to get you a macro lens now.
I'm trying
to. The problem is I have a Nikon. So
yeah, you're the weird person.
Yeah, so the Nikon macro lens is like $700. So the one that's at least comparable to the one you guys are using. So I don't know if I want to go that far down the rabbit hole.
At that point, you might as well just buy a new Canon and buy the Canon lens.
But I really do like my Nikon. I think it does everything that it needs to do. Plus, I have like 10 lenses already for Nikon, so it's one of those okay, is it really worth it? But then again,
once you're invested in a system, it's hard to change.
And then the last 2 videos I filmed have been on my iPhone. So it's like, this new iPhone does such a good job on footage that it's like, okay, do I even have to get my phone out? Or my camera?
Camera. Yeah, no, I totally understand that.
I still use my phone to shoot every now and then.
I still use my phone to shoot quite a bit. It's just easy. It's in your pocket. But 30 eggs in your tumbler. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I pull probably every time I pull eggs from my rice fish, I probably pull 30 to 50 eggs, and I don't think the fry hatch out, but I don't think I'm having that survival rate. I just don't think I'm feeding them enough is actually what I think.
I'm curious, JT, if you're on Instagram, send me a message. I'm curious to see which one you're using and how, kind of the setup of that, because because I know those eggs are so small. So I'm really curious about. You piqued my curiosity, that one, my friend.
Yeah, well, that's like I said. That's my other thing with the rice fish is I pretty much have to feed them like microworms, just because nothing else is really small enough for them. And I'm not at my house anymore very often, so I feed them once in the morning and once at night. And I go and I leave in the morning and there's 15, and then I come back, and 8 hours later and there's only 10. And I don't know if that's the problem or.
We need to get your hands on the Ceramicron and some catappa leaves.
I need to just order the Ceramicron and then try the catappa leaves, yeah.
I really like that Ceramicron. I think the last video I put out with the test, I think it did the best, and as of the results as of yet is showing that one, as far as everyone else's opinion, is the winner so far. So we'll do another test, and maybe I'll bring you guys in and have you guys do some tests on some different species too, and see if we can kind of get more of a general, test done on multiple different species of fish.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
If you haven't seen Peter's video, he actually, was it 4 fry or 3?
4 fry.
4? Yeah. So he separated out 4 guppy fry, and for a month fed them 4 individualized, more so specific fry foods to really hone in on which one's going to give you the best overall growth to that fry. So it was a pretty in-depth process that he did there for you guys.
Yeah. It wasn't the most scientific thing in the world. I mean, I could have gone absolutely crazy with it and done 4 10-gallon tanks with 10 fish in each tank and automatic feeders dumping the exact same amount of food in each one. And I could have just gone crazy with it. But I wanted to make it a simple process that, anyone can really set up if they wanted to try it themselves. And I didn't want to spend $600 doing it either.
Nope,
so.
I get it. When I went crazy when the Zis filters first came out, the moving bed filters first came out, and I set up tanks in my basement to specifically test those. I mean, they were cinder blocks, 2x4s, I think like 4 20-gallon tanks, an extra air pump, and this was all done in my living space. So my wife hated me for a few months. So it's
not Jordan.
Right. It's not always the easiest to set up those large tests because in the end, they actually can affect your family. Like when I tested if the Tetra Whisper air pump would run that Ziz filter, my great wife put up with me having a 20-gallon tank on the center of her kitchen counter for 2 weeks as I was testing that. So
Courtney's saying I can't be picking on Jordan anymore. Apparently, I've done it too much.
Well, when she came up, she was laughing. So I think
okay, good. I love you, Jordan. If you're listening, she kicked my butt in Clue.
Let's see. And Maria's saying that her husband says I'm already helpful, but don't be too helpful unless I'm going to gift them a water changing system. Pythons are pretty cheap.
Yeah, okay, here's the deal. Everyone in this chat will just get together a GoFundMe. It'll be $50, and we'll gift Maria and the aquatic monkey business a Python water changer.
How about everybody buys a Betta from Salt City Aquatics, and we'll fund it.
There we go. And then they'll just buy them a tank and a water changing system. Yeah.
See, we've now found a way to get donations for
exactly. The Glofish thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still want to see you
circle.
breed those.
Full circle.
Still want to see you breed those.
I don't want to breed them.
Just one of them.
I mean, I really do like the idea of it, but it's just like Bettas are so much work. I don't know, like if you guys you go to a fish store and you see like a Betta at $40 and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a ridiculous price. There is so much work that goes into raising.
I've toured some
fish.
places that have done the betta breeding like that, and I'm just like, yeah, it's not worth my time.
Every other tank is like easy to feed. I have to sit there and take 2 pellets per container every day and feed all those guys, and then it's like the highest quality foods, and it's live brine shrimp every day. It's just a lot of work. So when you see a fish at $40 or $50, there's a reason that fish is at that price. Number one, the breeder, like I spent $60 on my male and then $50 on my female, so I spent a lot of money up front, and then I had all that setup money. So there's a lot of money that goes into Bettas. Now that I have the setup, maybe I'll do the Glofish. It's just one of those. I don't know if I'd get sued.
Like I said, I still think it'd be interesting to see you cross a Glofish one with a regular betta and see what comes out of that.
It would be really cool to see a glow Candy Nemo plakat. So like take my koi plakat and then have that like koi pattern overlay the glow. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be cool to look at.
Artemis said, I swear the smaller fish YouTubers are so much better than Buck Fair. You guys actually care about your tanks, and it's the best. No shade to Paul. So I know Trent and I have talked about this.
We have.
Paul Cafaro and Fanatic and those kind of guys were actually the ones that got me into liking fish in the first place, and then I branched from there. So as much as like Courtney and I were actually having this conversation last night, as much as they don't really know what they're doing when it comes to breeding fish or taking the best care of a specific species of fish, they're still getting a lot of people into that hobby in a way. And hopefully they just reach people that will end up doing more research. And I know they're not. I know they're just kind of making money off their fish and everything, but they still got me into it, so I'm kind of grateful to them, so I can't throw too much shade at them either. But Trent laughs at me every time I say it. But I'll be honest.
I'm laughing because Jordan is now trolling you in chat. Okay.
Oh gosh. Oh, she is. I do suck at Clue.
No, but it's
true. I do.
It's true though. It is. What you're saying is true. I went from one tank, and all of a sudden it exploded to this. I want more, and it's. I'll try and say this. I'm making it too personal, but when I finally made my video about my Tourette's and put that out there and showed the world to that, it honestly keeps me humble to the point of I do YouTube because I enjoy it. I enjoy the interaction I have with people, and if I ever get to the point where I'm super cocky, I'm just doing things that I don't know what I'm doing, I'm gonna quit. I will pull myself out of it and quit. It's because this is my sanctuary. Like, this pulls me back to reality. This reminds me that my family supports me. Like, I need to support them. So it's, I don't want to say too much because I'm afraid that black suits and sunglasses will show up and steal me away because he has more money than I do. But I enjoy helping others. Like, already in the chat, man, how many people do we have in chat? And we've actually been able to have personal conversations with each one of them. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about this hobby.
Yeah, no, and I'm the same thing with you as, I like YouTube, don't get me wrong. I do run Bay Area Aquatics like a business. I talk business to you guys all the time. Part of that is just, my background's business. I like business. But the other part of it is the money lets me do more fish things. And so I'm trying to kind of find that balance of making sure I can, subsidize myself, but not like lose that passion. Like the breeding videos I've been doing the last couple months just don't get the views, but I'm doing them anyways because that's what I like to do right now. And so it's, I've taken a little bit of hit on the ad money in that, but that's what I'm liking to do. And so that's just what I'm doing.
Well, like Trent and I have had this conversation where we're kind of a weird breed of people where we have this hobby. We absolutely all love it. We enjoy doing it every day. It's something that we actually are excited to come home to do. And we just kind of feel like it's kind of cool to be able to film it for ourselves in a way. And then we put it out. Hopefully other people will enjoy it too. But I think it's more for us really in a way than it is for others. And if we can, like you, Michael, make some money to be able to help, buy wood or plants or food or whatever for your fish, that's a great way to do it. So
I wouldn't have nearly as many tanks if I didn't have the YouTube channel.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because I wouldn't have the money for it, wouldn't be in the club. Heck, even that wood from Adam that Houston Manzanita purchased, that was some of the first money I made off of the channel went towards that wood. And I couldn't justify myself spending that much money on it. I just had too small of a budget. And, with the channel started making money and I was able to kind of splurge a little bit, and it's been great. So. Yeah,
and you put your money back right into your fish room. You really do.
It all goes back, Yeah,
and that's where I think our benefit to actually enjoying our hobby really comes into play. So.
It's like when I first bought the 90 cube and I did the video on it. I'm looking at it right now. I have 211 views on that video. I will tell you the 2 hours I spent working on that tank was some of the best 2 hours of my life.
Yeah.
Because I got off my work. I was going to my weekend. I spent some time with the wife that night, put the kid down to bed, and then it was every time I wasn't filming, I had music pumping in the garage, and I was cleaning the nastiest tank I've ever picked up.
So
but
gross.
It was so relaxing though.
Well, see, that's why I like doing the videos the way I do them with the voiceovers at the end, is because when I'm doing something like that, like when I built my pond, right, that took me a day or two of just working out in the garage, and I just had music blasting the whole time, just working with wood and having fun, and then you have a product at the end that you can show off and be like, look, I made this, look at what I did, and it's cool,
Yeah. Well, and it's like with the strains of fish too. That's another cool thing. Is in a weird way, we're it's kind of a weird way of saying this, but we're kind of playing God.
Yeah.
If we don't do it right and we do it incorrectly, we're killing things.
Yeah.
Living things. So it's one of those, we enjoy doing it, but we also enjoy the fact of keeping things alive for the long run. And we get to build a strain, or we get to build a species of fish and hopefully pass that on to someone else, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree.
No, it is. It's going along that. I guess I'll spoil it a little bit. I've gotten so passionate about rice fish that I literally ordered some fish from China, and they are on hold because of this coronavirus thing going around. And the company has asked me, do you want a refund or do you want to wait? And I'm the nerd. It's like, no, we're waiting on this. No, like we are waiting this out. My fish will get here, and I will breed them, and I will love them. They will be my squishy. Like nobody can take that from me.
They're a nice fish. If they ever get out this way, I'm excited for those.
Yeah,
I'm
if
definitely
they show
stealing
up.
some of your fry. Like,
I still
The
think.
pressure's on us.
Yeah, I still think that the Corona rice fish is the way to name them, though. But
We'll see how much if my video I do on it gets demonetized right away or not. But I guess we'll see.
yeah.
But that's
All right. Well, I don't want to be the party
yeah, we're
pooper.
almost at 2 hours.
I would say
here,
we're hitting
so-
2 hours. If we want to hit any final questions, if anyone wants to jump in real quick.
give it the last few minutes.
Yeah, maybe a 5-minute warning or something, just because I got stuff to do. But
Yeah, I'm going to bed, so
see, I'm. It's only 7 o'clock here. It's way too early for bed.
What? Who got you both into rice fish? That's a question I have for both of you because I
Corey.
Corey got you into it.
Yeah.
So I saw Corey's, but then it was actually. Oh, my wife just told me to come eat. So
We got 5 minutes.
So
5 more minutes, Mom.
Yeah, please.
I bought my first rice fish when Michael actually picked up his from Carlos from Backyard Aquatics, and
Which aren't even actually mine. They're Carlos's. I'm just borrowing.
I actually ended up buying the wrong one. I thought I was buying the exact same one he got. Actually, I have those now. But once those came and I saw them in the tank, that's when I was hooked. Like, I wanted them to play with them, but then when I actually saw them in the tank and it was an overhead view, I was sold. I wanted them.
Well, see, and I was talking to someone at the SF club after Corey's thing. We all went out to eat afterwards, and we were sitting in the parking lot talking about rice fish, and he was saying that there's a ton of strains in, like, China and that where they're actually bred because they're so commonly in, like, ponds. They're top view. So they go, if you look at them from the side, they're the ugliest fish on the planet. But when you look at them on the top, their spine is, like, super metallic-y and super, like, like it. It's it looks interesting. I want to get that. Like,
both of our women are just trashing us in the comments right now, Trent.
see, at least you have someone trashing you. I'm just sitting here.
Hey, no, you've got both of us,
somebody
Michael.
give some love to Michael.
Yeah.
I was saying, I've been texting back and forth throughout the live stream.
Yeah, I noticed.
We got to find a Miss Bay Area. So.
Oh man. Yeah, I was just thinking about that today. I was like, why did most of them get into rice fish at the same exact time? That's just strange.
They're fun. They're cool to watch. It's really cool to watch the eggs carry and then get dropped and then watch. And like I said, the fry. I have never seen fry that. They're smaller than a grain of rice, like easily
You guys
smaller.
sent me those pictures, and I'm like, that is teeny little fish. They are microscopic.
Those pictures for like the ones I took them with my macro lens and then I cropped them in. It's like super much, and I just saw Trent's message. He says his internet is struggling.
Yeah, he's just frozen in a good face, so it's fine.
Yeah, but yeah, and it's just one of those, like, the fry are just so small. It's just cool. It's nice seeing that small all the way up to the big.
It is, and that's why it's really fun to breed stuff too.
Yeah,
it's because you can really see that growth. So, all right,
Julia says I need to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, we lost Trent there.
Trent, yeah.
He's just frozen in the corner.
All right, yeah, and we're gonna. I think I'm gonna go eat. But
Yeah,
it almost sounds like I should be coming over to Maria's house. What are you cooking?
Yeah, well, I know that. Is it Gigi's been cooking all the meals for you over there, Maria?
Yeah.
Well, you've been waiting on your 5th monkey to show up, so.
I'm not picky either.
Yeah, no, she's been making Thai food and all sorts of stuff. So.
I really like Italian and Mexican. Those are my 2 favorites. So just an FYI.
Yeah, I'm engaged to a Hispanic woman, so I get lots of very good foods.
Yeah.
So no complaints from me.
Yep. But all right. Well, I want you guys to keep your women, and your women are complaining in the chat.
Yes,
so
they are.
I'm gonna go ahead and say let's go ahead and end this. Anyone that's still watching, If you haven't subscribed to Well-Don Tanks or Guppy Guru, be sure to subscribe to them. I believe the links are in the comments. If not, I'll be sure to add them. And Korean food. I like Korean food.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like I said, hopefully we'll get to do this a little more often. And I don't know what channel it'll be on the next time, but this was a lot of fun.
It was.
So,
thank you all. Thank you, Mike.
Awesome. But all right, so I think we're good, right?
All right. Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys. See you
Bye.
later.